They open up with Florida. That'll be a loss. They might get by with Florida A&M. Oops. Ball State. Man, what a non-con schedule these guys have. South Florida. So I think you'll be 1-4 here. Virginia Tech, you get them at Miami. They're on the up and up, though. We'll come back to that one. Cal, you should be able to get one up on. Loss. Duke, you should beat. There's another loss when you come to Atlanta. Wake Forest and Syracuse. What a sissy soft schedule y'all have. Y'all schedule's almost as soft as North Carolina's is. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're losing to Virginia Tech too. There's 5 losses for you. You'll struggle to be bowl eligible this year. And you'll be like, but we got all this talent though.
Yeah. What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone is having a fantastic night. We're going to struggle to be bowl eligible according to the national media. But hey, we take care of business against the Florida A&M Rattlers. No, the band did not come at halftime. Unfortunately, it is what it is. 56-9 final score. The reality is that Miami did what they had to do. This was a game to get your backups some reps, your third string players some reps as well. I will say, Cam Ward made some very elite passes today. He had plenty of time in the pocket. Yeah. Offensive line did a great job protecting him. Really good job by Cam Ward. Over 300 passing yards, 3 TDs in the first half. He did have a rushing touchdown as well. But way to take care of business today. Tyler Barron, 3 sacks as well. A tremendous job. Regardless who you're playing, 3 sacks is phenomenal. So a lot to talk about. Damian Martinez had his first touchdown as a Miami Hurricane, but the Canes got the job done. They took care of business. Cam Ward continues on his Heisman campaign.
Paul, I feel the same way. The Heisman campaign keeps rolling forward. I mean, this guy is he's showing us stuff we haven't seen in a actually he's showing us stuff we've seen probably not in a long time, if ever. These sidearm throws for accuracy, yep. These little pitches to the side for 6 to 7 yards, dude, these are gutting offenses. They really are. They're taking our run game and making an extension of our run game, but it's not just 3-4 yards. It's 5, 6, 7, 8 yards off of these plays. And, dude, that's a big difference, man. That makes second down so much easier to operate with. I don't know if that's kind of what I'm seeing with Cam Ward at quarterback.
Yeah, there was one play. It was called back due to a holding call, even though they reviewed the touchdown pass to Sam Brown. Again, Cam Ward, plenty of time in the pocket. He was running, around in the pocket, kind of like Johnny Manziel-esque, that kind of playmaker ability. And he threw a beautiful pass. No, it's a connection to the wide receiver core I haven't seen in a long time. My only ask with Cam Ward is to feed Jacoby George more. I feel like he's been obviously Restrepo is going to be our leading receiver this year. I mean, he's our go-to guy. He's actually made a nice surprise connection with Isaiah Horton. I did not expect. I thought Jacoby George would be the number 2 receiver, and then Sam Brown as well. But I do think yards after catch wise, Jacoby George is our best wide receiver. And I thought last year, when in regards to NFL talent, I think he has a bigger projection compared to Xavier Restrepo or Sam Brown, Isaiah Horton. So I would like to see Cam Ward target Jacoby George a lot more, but that's just me nitpicking.
I guess what I was surprised to see is how much we spread it out and how even these targets actually became sometimes throughout the game, even more than some. There were some guys who only got one catch, who only got 17. Like Elijah Arroyo, 17 yards on his one catch. Riley Williams, 27 yards on his one catch. But you got Jacoby George, Samuel Brown, Isaiah Horton, Restrepo, all with 3 catches or more, and all averaging close to 10 yards per catch. Restrepo, I think it's clear, just like it was last year. He is our reception guy. He is our reception receiver. Yep. He's the guy we go to when we need that grab on, whether it's second, third down, late in the game, whatever it is. Restrepo is that guy. But I do feel the same way you do, Paul. I think George could be utilized a lot more, and I think he's a bigger playmaker than they've made him out to be so far in this offense.
Yeah, I agree. I think just connecting more with Jacoby George, giving him more targets, it's only going to help our offense.
Yeah.
Right now, the wide receiver rotation after 2 weeks stands with 4 guys, right? Restrepo, George, Horton, Sam Brown. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. But I think Restrepo is the leader of the pack, and then I think we're trying to identify our number 2 wide receiver, which right now looks like it's Horton. But I think Jacoby George should be our number 2 target.
How do you feel about Sam Brown so far? Are you a little underwhelmed, or do you think we're going to get him more involved?
You know what? There's been a couple plays so far early in the season. The pass Restrepo threw to him on the trick play, I thought he should have came down and grabbed it. There was another pass today that Cam Ward threw to him. I thought he should have caught it. I think, those plays right now, since we're winning, they're not going to mean anything but down the stretch, right? Those are big time plays you have to grab. So I do like him in that number 4 spot, but I think he does need to, big time players make big time plays, right? And the games against FAMU and Florida, of course, is a big game, but eventually, you're going to have to make big time plays. So I think Sam Brown is a nice depth chart wide receiver. But over time, I think Jacoby George, Isaiah Horton are going to kind of, take over that role as go-to receivers. And I think they will over time.
Do you think then, as the season goes on, eventually, as he learns the offense, he gets more familiar with Cam Ward, he could become a quality number 4 for us? I mean, because think about it. We haven't had a quality number 4 in a long time, Paul.
I mean, we haven't had, after 1 or 2, that's it, right? We never really had that much. Nice. So yeah, of course. I think that's what that's his identity, right? I think that's going to be his role, is to add depth to that wide receiver rotation, be another target. My only concern is, make the big plays. And I feel like that's a little bit lacking going into 2 weeks. We'll see over time.
Yeah. Do you think that now that we've had 2 games to see how he plays, do you think they try to adapt him a little more differently within the system? Or do you think they're going to try to still use him, kind of as a deep outlet just to see if we can get that cooking?
Yeah, you're always going to test that out, especially against Ball State, even USF before conference play.
Yeah.
I think your deep ball threat is Jacoby George. I think that's your guy for your deep ball threats, which we haven't utilized so far this year. Restrepo is always going to be your possession wide receiver, right? That who, if you want to move the chains, right, get 15 yards, that's your guy. Your go-to guy. But, with Sam Brown, I think he came in with, hey, we want you to be a deep ball threat. So they're going to test the waters there, of course, before conference play. Then by conference play, you should have your identity as an offense, as a wide receiver rotation.
I got a question for you, Paul. There was 2 plays with Restrepo where he went deep and the balls were underthrown. Do you think that was more of a factor of the defense actually playing the ball well, or just not the connection of coming back yet and understanding the quarterback, to receiver ratio kind of on the deep pass scenario?
I think it's more of a connection right now, right? New quarterback into the offense. Restrepo, he's that connection he had with Tyler Van Dyke past 3 to 4 years. It's been there. So it's a new quarterback, same offensive coordinator, but new quarterback in place. That connection is going to build over time. It's only going to get stronger.
Yeah.
It's the way I see it.
I think Ward will start to eventually get, I mean, he did leave a couple of our guys short. I think he's going to correct that. And I mean, literally, we're talking about 2 or 3 yards extra. And these are open, easy completions to guys over the shoulder. So I don't think it's going to take much to get this corrected, especially with how well Cam Ward has shown us he can adapt already. I mean, dude, we have a phenomenal quarterback on our hands right now. We really do.
Running back room, Damian Martinez, 11 carries, 91 yards. Mark Fletcher, 5 carries, 42. Jordan Lyle, the true freshman of St. Thomas Aquinas, 6 carries, 40 yards. Then A.J. Allen got some burn at the end for 5 carries, 25 rushing yards. Chris Johnson got some action as a receiver, that which was very interesting. He got a lot of playing time early on. I think Chris Johnson, honestly, I think the staff sees him in the wide receiver rotation more. I don't think right now he's going to fit a role in the running back room. That's probably not the answer people want to hear. But he only got 1 carry today. He got most of his action playing in that wide receiver role as a running back. So, look out for that in the near future. I will say there was a tweet on social media. If you're on Twitter, if you're not on social media, obviously you can't relate to this, but someone said they should flip Fletcher over Martinez for that starting running back role. I question that a lot. I think that's a very strange tweet. I'm not going to go into detail who was the affiliate, right? Because they do have a big following to mention that. Damian Martinez is your bonus baby, right? You're the guy. He's the guy that the program went after to pay a lot of money to grab from Oregon State, transfer over. He's over 1,000-yard running back in the Pac-12. No, you feed him the ball, right? He's a very patient running back. It's going to take time for this offensive line and himself to adjust to his run game. But Damian Martinez is your starting running back. Your situational short yardage running back is going to be Fletcher, and then Jordan Lyle. When someone needs a breath of fresh air, they need to take some rest on the sidelines. That's where he comes in as a freshman. So you have a 3 running back rotation, but Martinez is the leader of this running back room. Something I've been trying to find for a long time under Cristobal and with Manny Diaz as well is that home run hitter running back that we've been missing. And I'm hoping Damian Martinez can apply a lot of home run plays to this offense, right? Those plays where he takes off for 30 plus yards for a TD, 40, 50. That's really only going to help this offense a lot. I feel like the identity of the running back room under Cristobal has been a lot of grinding, short yardage gains, 15-yard gains. Let's go for the home run back. I think that's where Martinez over time will grow. He's a very patient running back again, but I think he can help us out in the long run. So I think that's your running back 1, and then Fletcher, he's going to be your situational back for goal line stands, 3rd down, short yardage situations, because he is a bowling ball.
Yeah. I still think Fletcher is our guy next year. I mean, he like will be our guy of absolutely next year. But Damian Martinez, his patience, and I know it drives there's some fans that just drives it nuts. I mean, it drives them nuts that he just kind of, takes his time behind there. But until he proves he can't be patient and not find the hole, we have no reason to think that his patience is a problem. And I'll tell you what, man, in me as a Seahawks fan, watching Marshawn Lynch for years, that's literally what Marshawn Lynch was. He was a zone blocking running back who took his patience, took his time, found the hole, and when he found it, he exploded. And if he didn't, he decided to put his shoulder down and run guys over for an extra 2 or 3 yards. Yep. And I think that's what Martinez is for us. And I don't mind that little extra time he takes behind the line of scrimmage, just as long as we don't start losing quality yards because of it. You know what I'm saying? But Absolutely. But Fletcher's going to be a tremendous number 2 piece. He will be, fantastic number 2 piece. And I don't know if you heard, you were talking about Chris Johnson Jr. earlier and getting him in the pass game, out of the backfield. I had heard, and I'm not 100% sure just because I haven't had a chance to look into it yet, but they were thinking about putting Robbie Washington over to defensive back. So that would actually open up more of a role in the long term, in my opinion anyways, for Chris Johnson to be a pass catching back out of the backfield, because that's what I truly believe Robbie Washington would have been as time went on.
I want to move over to the defense a little bit. Tyler Barron, 3 sacks tonight. Phenomenal performance. Again, 3 sacks against FAMU, against whoever you're playing, USF. Great job, right? 3 sacks are outstanding. A lot of people doubted him. A lot of Florida Gators said that transfer from Tennessee is going to be worthless. It's working out really well. Jaden Harris as well, 5 total tackles, half a tackle for loss. Kiko Mauigoa, 5 total tackles. Raul Aguirre, 4 total tackles. Chase Smith got some action today. That is a name that he's been buried in the system before. He's been through multiple coaching staffs. Good to see him get some playing time. Wesley Basaint with an interception. Really good job. Aldarius Hayes as well.
That was a pretty amazing interception, too. That was a pretty amazing interception for a linebacker.
Yeah. Really good job. OJ Frederick, again, true freshman in the secondary, right? We got to develop him. So the more playing time he gets, the more he's, starting. Outstanding role. 5 sacks tonight. I think as a team, that should be the goal, right? Getting 5 sacks every week in, week out with this defensive line. Obviously, Ruben Bain was not a part of this defensive line tonight. I believe he has a soft tissue injury. He'll be out for the next couple of weeks. He won't be against FAMU. He was not going to play. I don't know what's going to happen against Ball State, but I think he should be ready by USF.
Yeah, from what I heard, the next 2 weeks are just a precautionary measure. If he had to play, he could play, but there's no reason really to play him. But I will say off the jump, speaking of defense, Paul, Jaden Harris has impressed the hell out of me. Seriously. Jaden Harris has been, he's been all over the damn place. Places I didn't think he would be at, involved in tackles. You look up and you see his jersey number popping out of the pile. Jaden Harris is hungry. He's ready to prove he belongs, and he's showing that he belongs. And I just love that hunger, man. I love that kind of hunger, especially from the DBs. I love that hunger to come down in the box and stop the run game, or come down in the box and put pressure on a tight end that might be 4 or 5 inches taller than you, just to throw him off his route. Jaden Harris has no problem with that at all, and he makes our backfield that much more special just because he's there. Honestly, I truly think we have a really good player there.
And Ross, we spoke about the secondary, all for a long time. That was one of our worries for a long time. This upcoming season was the secondary. And we spoke and we said we need underclassmen to step up, right? Because we just don't have the depth, the personnel there, right? To really excel. We need other people to step up we're not expecting. And so Jaden Harris to be playing lights out, the past couple weeks is really a breath of fresh air. We were worried about OJ Frederick, right? Coming in as a freshman. We weren't sure how he was going to perform against Florida. We need the underclassmen to come ready to play in that secondary. We were fine with the defensive line and the linebacker play, but the secondary was a big question.
I think what's nice about having OJ back there is that no matter what happens, his length can make up for some of the mistakes that he has, just in coverage as a very, very young player. I was really impressed at the pass breakup he had. I was really impressed at that, dude. I mean, that was full body extension. We're talking like 6'5", 6'6" wingspan type of thing, but totally in control, totally within the play. Had his head turned back around at the ball. Wasn't even putting pressure on the wide receiver and still made the play and knocked it out of bounds. I thought that was pretty impressive for a kid his age, honestly.
By the way, guys, if you're thinking next week is going to be a walkthrough with Ball State, let me run you through what's going on in college football right now. Northern Illinois defeated Notre Dame. Okay, Notre Dame was number 5 in the nation. USF was in a dogfight with Alabama. We play them in a couple weeks in Tampa. That place is going to be sold out. They're going to be ready to go. Boise State is up 6 at halftime against Oregon. Okay. Arizona is ranked 20th in the nation. They're only up by 3 heading into the fourth quarter against Northern Arizona. NC State was blown out by Tennessee. Penn State, ranked number 8th in the nation, beat Bowling Green by 7 points. That could have been an easy loss. Utah, ranked 11th in the nation, won by 11 points to Baylor. Okay. Oklahoma, ranked 15th in the nation, beat Houston by 4 points. Oklahoma State beat Arkansas by 8 points, and Kansas State beat Tulane. They're ranked 17th in the nation by 17 points. And LSU was in a fight with Nicholas. Their name is Nicholas. And Kansas, 19th in the nation, lost to Illinois. Do you see where I'm getting at with these scores? Is that you have to treat every opponent like it's your Super Bowl, like it's your national title game, because on any given Saturday in college football, if you don't show up to play, you can lose that game easily. This isn't the NFL where you can lose 4 games and you're still winning the division.
That's true.
And by the way, for people listening, strength of schedule for the college football playoffs matters. If Florida goes 2-10, Florida State goes 0-12, and the rest of Miami's opponents go mediocre, play 500 ball, and the ACC is weak, 11-1 Miami will not get in unless they win the ACC, compared to an SEC program like Alabama that goes 10-2. The committee will pick an SEC program over 11-1 Miami, for example. Cal Berkeley did beat Auburn, so that does help out a lot. But you got to treat every opponent like it's the national title.
Having Cal come in and I believe wasn't on the road, Paul?
I got to check. Fernando Mendoza, by the way, product of Christopher Columbus High School.
Yeah, Florida
He was
kid right there.
offered by Cal Berkeley on National Signing Day, was headed to Yale University. So he's from Miami, and he got the win against Auburn. Really good job today by him.
Very smart, very
In Auburn.
intelligent quarterback
in
with
Auburn.
a very good arm. Very good arm. Was it on the road or home?
It was on the road in Auburn.
On the road. So I mean, dude, that says something. It says something. Everybody was saying how much improved Auburn was this year. That Auburn had, kind of turned the tables, and that they were going to become, a little bit more of the Tigers that we're used to seeing. And Cal went in there as the fresh team in the ACC and got a win. So that means that Cal has no problem traveling a long ways to get a W. Now, yes, we are a little further different, difference in time than Auburn is. But as far as I'm concerned, if you can go into Auburn and win, you can come into California. I mean, you can come into Florida, and you can give some teams a hard time.
We're going to be playing in Cal Berkeley as well. So, again, one game at a time.
Yeah.
One game at a time this year. We took care of business against FAMU. Let's focus on Ball State. Let's go 3-0. And I have no idea about Ball State, being honest. I don't know about them. I'm going to learn about them coming into this game, see what they got. But we got to blow them out in the first half. Take care of business.
The only thing that I have heard about Ball State is that they do, I mean, they try to apply the running game as quick as possible. They feel they have a stout running game. They feel they have a stout offensive line. But the thing is, Paul, is that our guys are bigger, faster, stronger. They are. It's just simply a fact. And there should be no problem why we don't give this team a hard time. Now, you know what? If Ball State comes out, makes a couple lucky plays here and there or whatever, you know, that kind of crap happens. For 4 quarters, I can't see them hanging with the University of Miami. I just can't.
Well, they beat Missouri State by 8 points, 42-34. So we got to take care of business. End of story.
Yeah. If we play like we did today, it's a W, Paul. Simple as that. If we play like we did today,
100%.
play like we did week 1, it's an absolute W. When we're talking about 3-0, and we're moving up there, I mean, you know, hopefully some teams above us, you know, lose, but, you know, we should be moving up the polls after that. And, I mean, coming into something 4-0, we both know what 4-0 can mean, Paul. It means a lot, especially 4-0 and 5-0. Those 2 numbers mean a lot when the teams are when the guys who are sitting back making the scheduling and making the rankings, you know, are talking about, you know, where to put teams. Those 4-0, 5-0 numbers they seem to mean a lot to them.
Ross, we covered a lot, short time period. We're straight to the point. We don't sugarcoat stuff. Anything we missed out on that you want to speak about against the FAMU game 2 weeks into the season? We got a lot of football left.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just, I'm proud about how this team is taking force. They're taking responsibility. They're taking accountability, Paul, is what I see this year. I see them taking accountability. And that was one of the biggest words in I mean, that accountability floated in my head all damn off season. Because how long has it been since we've seen accountability be taken at the University of Miami? It's been so damn long. We've let guys play who didn't deserve to play. We let guys get way more snaps who didn't deserve to get snaps. But you know what? That seems to be changing, Paul. It really does. We're spreading the ball around. If you look at who is getting, I mean, there's nothing separating our top wide receiver from our bottom wide receiver from basically 2 receptions. We're spreading the ball around a lot, and we're getting production from it. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some guys who need the ball a little more often. There's some guys who need the ball, or at least targets, a little more often. Jacoby George, you know, that stuff like that. But we're spreading the ball around. Ward is so damn comfortable in this offense. And it looks so refreshing to see a quarterback back there who just feels like he can just breeze through this dude. It's so refreshing, Paul.
Remember this. If you watched SMU, Duke yesterday, you watch those teams, those were flashes of the Manny Diaz era.
Yeah.
A lot of ugly, rough wins against mediocre teams. But you know what? We shouldn't be, with the talent level, we shouldn't even be in a dogfight with them. A lot of regression, no development, mediocre football. We have a very good quarterback, and he's killing it right now. We have an outstanding offensive line. We have a heavy running back room and a 4 wide receiver rotation at the moment. 4-man wide receiver rotation. Let that sink in. Talk about tight ends a little bit, but they weren't really utilized today. They weren't. D-line is elite. Linebacker play is playing outstanding. And secondary is coming along. Let's take care of business the rest of the way.
I want to give a shout out to Bobby Pruitt for getting his first interception as a Cane. Man, I love seeing that, man. Cameron Bobby Pruitt is one of my favorite Canes. His attitude, his love for this team it's contagious, and it'll spread the more he plays. Honestly, that's how I feel about him. He is a Cane by heart. That's how I truly feel about this kid, and he's so stoked to put on for the orange and green. He's so stoked to do it, dude.
All right, we got Ball State next week. Let's take care of business 1 week at a time. We're 2-0. We should crack the top 10 come the AP polls whenever they come out, Sunday or Monday. Hope everyone has a great rest of your night. And always, all about the U. Go Canes.
Go Canes.